From Las Vegas, it's Let's Talk News Now with Rick and Ella.
Welcome back to Let's Talk News Now. I have with you the gentleman that we were just speaking about. Funny how you just dropped in.
I did.
Yeah, it's nice to be so to have a cup of coffee, right? And that is Mariano Longo is with us this morning. Good morning, sir.
Good morning to all of you.
Thank you.
So what's it, so far, you know, I realize that you stand in front of an orchestra at different times, and that you have 40, 50, 60, 70, 100 instruments sitting in front of you. Right?
Sometimes. Yeah.
So what's it like? You a little intimidated being surrounded by these three?
Yes, I am. You took me by
Give the
surprise.
orchestra. Right then.
I sort of blanked out on the orchestra. Right?
Mariano, you have, I mean, your reputation is just huge, and you know, as both a conductor and as an arranger. And the very first question I have for you is just straight out of the box: doing pop symphony, where oftentimes you're taking pieces that were recorded in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. Okay, and the perception is that oftentimes these bands had 4, 5, 6 players.
They did.
And then you would turn around, but then you're trying to take that which was written for 4 or 5 or 6 instruments and then actually expanding that out into 50 instruments.
Well, sometimes we do, Rick. And then sometimes the artists from that era were actually recorded with a large symphony in the studio as well.
Right.
And that's what's so unique about this music from, let's say, 60s through 1980, was it was some of the best orchestrated pop music that is in existence. Somewhere in the 80s and the 90s, things shifted to the synthesized music, and it got a little more electronic. But what we do with our artists is we return the listener to that authentic sound that they heard in the studio. And sometimes, as you said, we will augment a rhythm section, a 4 or 5 piece group that is just 2 guitars, bass and a drum, or a piano, and then we'll add a symphony and bring in a whole new dimension to the music.
I think it's like making the music come alive. I think it's beautiful. I was in the marching band. I was a band geek. Totally was band. I played the drums, marched a little bit, but I appreciate a full sound. I appreciate seeing everyone playing an instrument and having a conductor and having a singer in front of that is beautiful.
Well, Kim, you would have an appreciation of what that actually feels like, and part of what our mission is that the young people, the children, especially with educational funding being cut, there's a big disconnect between what the kids see and what they hear, and actually knowing what those instruments are. Like sometimes they'll hear a flute, and a young child, if they're shown a picture of different instruments, they won't be able to identify what that instrument is.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Or a violin or a clarinet. So what we do helps with that mission to
Education.
connect. Yes.
Personally, I'm a purist. I didn't even like it, first I can say I remember, yes. I didn't even necessarily like it when they went to the synthesized guitar, or electric guitars, okay, but then when they started adding the synthesizers and so on, I've gone, they're ruining this.
Well,
I realize that's entirely my perspective, not shared by all musicians.
No.
I can enjoy a good techno song here and there.
Every generation has to have its voice.
Right.
And what happens is we develop through these genres of music, and then we retain the best that the era and the genre had to offer. And that's what we remember.
Okay.
So,
And I know you just this past weekend you were over at the Cannery, correct? The Buckinghams were over
The
at the
Buckinghams.
We're over at the Cannery.
that's one of the artists that we're developing a symphony pop series for.
And that is, I mean, it's just phenomenal. It is. It's very exciting, and to be able to hear things in so many different dimensions.
Well, for you, the younger viewers out there, the Buckinghams in the '60s were very much like the Maroon 5 of today.
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
very huge recording artists.
Recognize Maroon 5.
And there's only one of us that recognizes the Buckingham.
Well, two.
I listen to them.
No, well, see, you would recognize the songs. If the songs
Right,
came on,
right.
you'd go, "Oh, I remember that song."
Yeah, probably, yeah.
So you've taken music and then orchestrated it, what was your favorite song to work on?
Oh, jeez.
Do you have one?
From the Buckinghams?
Or anyone that's your
Anything in
favorite?
particular?
Well, now I'm going to date myself here, but MacArthur Park.
Okay, sure.
Back in the day.
Chicago?
No, that was actually written for an actor, Richard. Thank you.
Thank you.
Richard Harris
Harris.
was an actor who really wasn't a singer at all.
Okay.
And someone made him a bet that he couldn't have a hit record. So he approached Jimmy Webb, the great songwriter, and said, will you write me a song that would make me a hit singer? And Jimmy Webb wrote this very ambitious orchestral piece called MacArthur Park.
Wow.
And it was very unusual, very unique, and it became a big hit.
Marion, I want to thank you so much for your time and for joining us here this morning. Continued success.
Thank you.
We're going to take a short break. We'll be back right after this.